YouTuber Nation? It's Lefty. It's probably been a little while since I've done a video, so I thought I'd catch you up on what's been going on. So I turned 40 last week. Oh, disclaimer before I go, whatever I say in this, I'm not supported or promotion or sponsored or anything like that by any of the products that I might talk about. I just enjoy them and I'm having fun with them, and yeah. So anyway, back to what I turned 40 last week. So, whoa, big 4-0. So they say it's over the hill, but I feel like I'm just getting started. And yeah, as you can see, a little overweight, but I'm gonna fix that, and I'm already working on it. Got a couple of tonal workouts underneath my belt, and starting to walk a little bit more, so we'll see how that goes. But as some of you probably already remember from my last video, my parents flew out. My dad and my stepmom flew out for my birthday week, and got to spend time with them for the first time in, I don't know, about 5 years, 4 years, 5 years, something like that. And it was awesome. So they showed up, picked them up from the airport. We kind of did a couple things. Went to the Air and Space Museum at Dulles. Got to see one of the coolest aircraft known to man, the SR-71 Blackbird. The Space Shuttle Discovery was there. Hey, all I gotta say, go if you ever come to the DC area, because yeah, it's awesome. But anyway, went down to see the Jefferson's, what is that, his house in Virginia. Oh crap, I just had a brain fart. Fuck. Monticello. That's it. Monticello. Anyway, so that's what it's called, Monticello. And that was his estate. Learned a whole bunch of information about him and how he was and what he did in his life. A lot of it's controversial. I did not realize that he was as big of a plantation owner as he was. Yes, that includes the unfortunate art of slavery. I say art because in its history, it was designed to get the best of the best, to create the plantations as they were, and it kind of forced America on the backs of that. As much as we hate to admit this, and as much as we do not condone all that went down with that, it is an unfortunate fact that America was built pretty much forged from that kind of environment, and it would not be what it is today without them. So I thank every family member, descendant, whatever it might have be to that was a part of that. I am sorry on a level that I cannot explain, in that back then it should never have been done, but things were done differently back then. Their mentality was different. I know if that stuff was done today in America, all hell would break loose. There'd probably be like 5 civil wars on top of each other, and I wouldn't condone it at all. If I lived back then, I wouldn't have condoned it then. I would have been probably just a rancher that paid all his people and said, screw it, I'm going to take whatever comes with the punishments that go with that. That being said, at the end of the day, it really kind of boils down to he was a good man. Going back to Jefferson, he really was a good man, and it's kind of funny because he did have some children by a slave that he freed in his will, and all kinds of other stuff. It was so amazing just walking through and learning about what he brought to America in his little hill. So you can definitely go there. Yeah, anyway, so let's see, went to a few wineries, got to spend time, drinking, hanging out with my parents. I know a lot of kids or whatever don't agree, or well, I guess not agree. Find it odd to go drinking with their parents. I think it's really cool. One thing is, my mom has lived through a couple of different things that probably should have killed her. So to be able to sit there and, you know, drink some wine with her and hang out was pretty magical on that part. And I was just really thankful for that. And then, you know, just to see my dad chill for once in my life. I grew up with a man that used to work his ass off, and by that I mean all the time. You rarely saw him, and it was to better our lives. But, you know, as a kid, you don't understand that. But to see him just kind of sit back and chill and do that, it was really awesome. Let's see, what did we do? Oh, the highlight of the week, we went to Hershey, Pennsylvania. Coolest town ever. I was a big 40-year-old kid. We went to the Hershey plant and we went to all that cool stuff. And oh man, it's crazy. There are tours and you can make chocolate and you can go watch videos, and there's the park there and the town and the cool lights, and holy shit, it was awesome. You have to go back because I didn't get to go see everything, and I want to stay in the hotel. And oh my god, it is a chocolate lover's dream. I mean, seriously, if you couldn't have, I can't even describe it. It was awesome because everything you did, you got a piece of chocolate. It was great. So I would highly recommend anybody get to go to Hershey, Pennsylvania, and learn about Hershey and what he actually did. One of the biggest things that I learned that day was the school for boys, now school for underprivileged children, yes, girls included, that he started back because he couldn't have kids. And I kind of can relate, but we'll discuss that at a later point in discussions. Anyway, but him and his wife, Kitty, couldn't have kids, so they opened this school, and it has been going on to this day. And it's all because he left his fortune in a trust to maintain this school. And it went from roughly 50 boys or so around the time that he died to 2,600 currently today. And you can go from anywhere from pre-K all the way to 12th grade, and they supply everything once you get in. Clothing, food, housing, stipend for money to go spending. And when you're in 12th grade, they kind of get you ready for life. Like, they put you in a house where you have to take care of it. You have to go grocery shopping. You have to do the house chores. You have to get ready for life. And it's kind of amazing because I kind of wish that all schools were like that. Although that would be pretty impractical, and it would kind of, you know, take the part away from being a parent. I don't know. The cool thing is about each of the grades, or group of grades I should say, is that the kids kind of live with a parent group, and so they can have kids or not have kids, but they oversee the kids as they're in the school. So they live in the house together, they do family things together, and they pretty much, you know, they help them have kind of a normal life that maybe they wouldn't have because they didn't have enough money, or they came from the wrong part of town, or whatever the case may be. And it just kind of restored a little bit of my faith in humanity, because right now I'm like, it's lacking a lot. So it's crazy. Like, I don't know, it's so weird. Like, this guy created chocolate. Well, he created some other candies first, primarily caramels, but this guy created probably the world's most known chocolate. Maybe not the most popular, the best, but the most well-known chocolate in the world. And he chose to throw all of his fortune to making sure that children grew up to make, you know, better like make America better or make the world better, and that's pretty freaking awesome. So, I mean, it's one of those deals that, like, oh man, my speech sucks today, but I really applaud the guy, and if I had that kind of money, I'd probably do that same kind of thing, you know, to reach out to help, to do whatever I could, especially knowing kind of the circumstances that I may or may not be in. We won't quite discuss that, but yeah. The next day we kind of just hung out, went to breakfast, did our thing, and I'm not sure if I've really discussed the Comcast saga with my house on the hill yet, but this bullshit is really, like, destroying my head. So we've been in our house for going on 6 months now, and we have been fighting since day one with Comcast to get high-speed internet. Now, I know what you're thinking. Oh, there's 10,000 other places you can get it, like Verizon or Spectrum or satellite or whatever the case may be. Well, yeah, you're right. Minus a few things. Most of you that are personal to me know that in the military, I dealt with satellite stuff. So I'm not fond of civilian satellite networks. Mostly because a cloud comes into view and it just stops working. Slight exaggeration, but you get what I'm saying. I will lose connectivity if a thunderstorm comes through or a snowstorm comes through, or, trees get in the way, whatever the case may be. And not to mention, the speeds suck balls. And I'm talking like really suck balls. My phone at my house gets a faster internet speed than the satellite dish that we currently are trying to use to work from home or watch TV, because I chose Viasat. I'm familiar with Viasat. I trust the company. They've got great stuff. Problem is, we only have 30 megabits worth of data with a premium cap of 100 gigabytes a month, and then we get prioritized behind somebody else for a lot of money. Well over $100. Not cool, right? So at 100 gig, now my speeds drop from 30 megabits to probably somewhere around 12, and I can't watch Netflix, work on my computer, be on my phone, play my PlayStation, do anything that requires an internet connection reliably when it gets to that point. And that's the same pretty much thing with HughesNet. We've tried to get Starlink. Unfortunately, right now it's not available in our area because it is saturated, and there's a fight going on between Amazon and Elon Musk and some regulation stuff. I understand it. I'm not going to try to explain it on here. If you got questions, I'll go through it with you. But the bottom line is that Elon Musk has grandfathered laws on how and where he can launch satellites, when, what, basically how he operates. And Amazon's pissed off because the FAA decided to change a bunch of rules. I think it was late last year, that now apply to them, and Elon doesn't have to follow them. Amazon does for their stuff. They don't think it's fair. It's a bunch of shit. And yeah, well, okay, so we're waiting on that. We're on the list. We might get it at the end of next year. Who knows? 150 megs, that's pretty good for a satellite. Still a little cautious about the weather, but it does have a heating element to keep snow off. If you put it in the right area, it should work. It also has a little bit different technology in that the base stations that are running Starlink have positive control of each of the terminals for the residential areas, so when weather comes in, they can kind of operate the terminal transmission and receive powers and all that kind of stuff. Excuse me, transmission powers. You don't change receive power. With that, we just don't know when we're getting it. But HughesNet, Viasat, theirs are kind of static. It's set as it is, and it doesn't work. So here we are, back to Comcast. Now, Comcast is a billion-dollar company, and I'm not trying to bash them. We all know that these tech companies have mediocre customer service at best, just because they deal with millions of people, right? Not an excuse. It's just what happens. So we've been dealing with them for about 4 months, and we have got the runaround about putting in lines, not being able to find our house, doesn't exist, having an HOA, you name it, they've said it. And I'm telling you right now, everything they've said has been completely false. The family that owned the property before our property was subdivided and built on have Comcast. So it's available. They just want us to pay for it. Now, originally, they were telling us it was going to be somewhere around, I think, $14,000 or something like that to have the cable run and attached to the house and all of this good jazz. All right, that's the first time. Well, apparently quotes and stuff only are good for 90 days. They don't tell you that up front unless you dig and dig and dig and dig. So, of course, my wife, being who she is, and kind of being in the HR department, decides, you know what, we're not going to play any bullshit games. We're just going to fire our artillery, and we're going to get the ball rolling. So she goes all out, goes after the sends emails to the commission of our state and our county and the governor and the FAA and all kinds of, FCC and FAA, all kinds of crazy complaints and stuff going on. And Amazon comes back, Comcast comes back and lies through their fucking teeth. And of course, I'm getting irritated because I'm an IT dude. So I know exactly how easy this is. I've run cable in the field. It is not that freaking hard. I've buried the shit in the ground. I've done all of this crap. I know that what they're trying to tell me is bullshit. Well, anyway, so they did a desktop survey and guessed at the distances. So then we're like, you guys flat lied, so come out and do a real survey so we know what the hell's going on. Well, that changed things a little bit. Now they got some different numbers. Now it's 1,300 and some change feet, and it's $20 some odd thousand for us to have it all installed. Blowing our mind. Oh, and then we have to get permission from a fictitious HOA. Now, the reason that is because there is a subdivision that is in front of us that has an HOA, but we don't. We are kind of on what used to be farmland, and we don't. There are 3 new houses, and we own what we own, and we do what we want with it. So, this kind of crap is starting to piss me off even more. And if you do know me personally, you know that once my temper starts to flare, it's really, really hard to turn it down. So, wifey decides she's going to take the ball on all of this because I'm not going to deal with the stress. And about this time, this is when all the summer stuff was going on overseas and I was just losing my mind. And so, yeah. Well, we push and we push. They won't give us a breakdown of any of our stuff. They won't tell us, how, who, what, when, where, what the split out is, because quote unquote it's proprietary. Holy frick, can't talk today. And so here we are fighting with these jackwagons that want to sit here and try to tell IT guy, me, that their job is $22,000 worth of labor and another $5,000 worth of parts and miscellaneous, which they still cannot give me a breakdown of what it all entails. Now, that equals somewhere around $27,000-ish or so. And get this. Okay, so yes, Comcast does give a little bit of a portion to the total infrastructure part based on the houses. So there are 3 of them. So they give roughly $6,500 or so towards this balance. But the 3 houses have to come up with almost $21,000 to finish this project. It is complete horseshit, because I could dig the trenches, I can run the cables, I actually have the government FCC certifications to run both fiber and copper cable and terminate them correctly. So I'm trying to figure out why the hell I can't do all the work and you come and just hook it up. But they're not going to do that. So at the end of the day, what's going on is Comcast is trying to get us to pay for their infrastructure work. Now, bear in mind, if you know anything about what's going on in America, there's this huge push for high-speed rural area freaking America to get high-speed internet by none other than our awesome President Biden. Sorry. Did I say awesome? I mean President Biden. Anyway, there is money being shoveled into states for infrastructure to these big IT companies to get fiber and high-speed copper and all kinds of other infrastructure in place for them to get high-speed internet to people like me. Now, all right, maybe they just don't understand that the money they're getting is supposed to be doing that. We've brought this up. They're discounting that information that we're giving them. Really, really pissing me off about that. Not so much me as my wife. Oh man, she has gone crazy when it has come to this stuff. To the point that she has actually made more than one complaint to all of these places. I think, as she puts it, I'm going to be on a list. I don't know what list, but she's claimed she's going to be on somebody's list by the time she's done with this. So, here we are, that Friday, last Friday. I get the construction supervisor coordinator dude to come out, and I want him to show me exactly what's going on. And I'm telling you, what he shows me is quite literally the easiest project you could possibly do when it comes to running cable, even if you have to put it in the ground, which makes me even more irate. But my dad gave me some compliments because I kept my cool and I didn't blow my top. I just asked a bunch of questions. My wife wrote a bunch of answers down, and they promised a whole bunch of information to us yesterday or whatever. And of course, did they give it to us? No. So we're still waiting, and we're using our phones and Viasat for internet, and it sucks because I can't watch TV and I can't play my PlayStation. And well, I guess it really doesn't suck because I get other things done, like projects around the house. But I'd like to, on a rainy day, maybe watch some Netflix, but can't even do that because about 2 minutes in, it has to sit there and buffer. So, whatever. So, that was my day on Friday. And of course, well, we're still dealing with it. If anybody that sees this channel knows of a way that we can do this. Oh, by the way, I didn't mention this, but we've talked to 3 other people that have gotten Comcast in the last two-ish years or so, and they didn't pay a dime for them to run a prime cable straight to their house. And they have more work done than we're going to have done because all of our conduit and stuff's already run except for, I don't know, maybe like 500 feet, which they can do themselves. But anyway, but under the road, all that stuff's already done. But 3 other people, free. Haven't paid a word. But haven't paid a thing. So, yeah, check that out. Anyway, so that's that. But if any of y'all know, feel free to message me, do whatever, call somebody, I don't know, send flares, start a GoFundMe, I don't care. Anyway, now I'm not advocating for you to start a GoFundMe. I don't need your money. Anywho, so the following day was a really good day for me. I don't talk a lot about my personal life or how I grew up, as far as like my parents being split and having two sets of parents, mom and dad's. I look at them both the same. They've been in my life for pretty much the same amount of time. So when it comes to my parents, I use mom and dad interchangeably for both my mom and my stepmom and my dad, my stepdad. But my dad and my stepmom, Marlena, came out, and it was really cool because I was going to go fishing with my dad. And I know my dad's not really a fishing person. He'd rather go do other things. But he is a project-driven person. And I had some things that needed to be done on the boat. We kind of discussed that last week, or the week before, or whenever I did my last channel update. I don't remember. And I got to thinking, and I was like, you know what? I think my dad would love to help me do the upgrades and stuff for my boat. So we did that. And we got up early on Saturday, and we did all kinds of things. We put a VHF radio in, a brand new Bluetooth radio, some other knickknacks, ran some antenna wiring and some other little things. Oh, and hooked up the digital fuel gauge stuff for my NEMA network on it. If you need, it's boat stuff. I'll show it to you guys sometime. But it was awesome because my dad and I were just sitting out there hanging out, just talking. It's just something that I haven't done with him, and it's kind of hard to explain how I feel about it because, well, I got a lot of mixed emotions about it because I haven't had that kind of experience with him before. I've had my time with him, but I've never had my one-on-one time with him. And then for him to say, hey, let's go check it out, test it out. And, we took it out on the river and tested all the things out. And I got to show him the cool, trolling motor, and the boat was running perfectly after they pulled all that water out of it. And just to sit there and put it into the geo anchor mode on the trolling motor so it just stays in place, just talking with my dad, drinking beer. Yes, I broke the rules and I drank some beer on the river. Don't care. Whatever. Just talking. It didn't matter what we talked about. We talked about a lot of shit, but just had time with my dad. And I kind of have to give it to my brothers, specifically Robert. He was nagged. No, I won't use the word nagged. He was pushed and pushed and pushed by my wife to come out here for my 40th birthday. And he told my parents, nope, that he didn't want anybody to pay for his stuff. And two, he thought that my parents needed time with me and her by themselves. And, it was a blessing in disguise, even though, as odd as this may sound, he has not actually met my wife in person. They've talked on the phone and stuff like that, but that's about it. Mostly because of time zones and states and jobs and COVID and a myriad of other bullshit excuses that we probably could have gotten around but haven't, so he hasn't met her face to face. Well, anyway, it gave me enough time to hang out with my dad, just me. And it was a really nice, unexpected birthday present. And it was memories. It was memories that I didn't really get to make a whole lot of when I was a kid, just because running back and forth with from my mom to my dad with my brothers and all that. This one was just me and him, and it was awesome. Like, we were just cruising. I was showing him how the Humminbird Helix 12 was working. I mean, told him all the cool features. And the thing is, we didn't even bring a fishing pole, but we found all kinds of fish, and I'm talking huge fish. So I know where to go fishing on the river now. But again, the point of the story is not that we went out on the boat, but that I got to spend quality time with my father that I really hadn't had in the last 40 years. So it was pretty cool. And then, of course, they had to go home. So here I am, driving home from work, talking to y'all, and I am going to kind of let it out that I am working on a business plan. Everybody who I talk to about it thinks I'm absolutely nuts. I really don't give a shit what they think, because I want them and I think they're cute, and I think I can actually make it a business. But I'm going to start an alpaca farm, for real. I have gone to a group called Warrior Rising, and if you're a veteran, you can take this and they can kind of help you get started on your entrepreneurship venture. And they don't provide you any money or anything, but they give you kind of a course, a guided course, but it follows what we were taught in the military and translates it into civilian like corporate type stuff, and gets you ready to be your own boss, really. And I've learned so much. It's crazy. And the fact that just the translation has been absolutely epic for me. I'm really going to do it. I want a herd of about 10 to 12 alpacas. The intent is to breed them and share their wool. No, it's not wool, it's fiber. It's kind of fleece is actually what you would call it. Primary reason is they are hypoallergenic, and as a lot of you may know, I have allergies to just about everything now since I've traveled the world, and it seems like every time I go to a different place, something new pops up, and my skin hates it, and my nose and my head hate it, and whatever. And I get shots all the time, and whatever, don't care. But I'm gonna get these. I wanna do something that kind of benefits lots of people. Not to mention their fleece is about 5 to 10 times warmer than wool when it's woven. I don't know if I'll use them as a food product. You can raise them for meat, but I don't think that's an avenue that I'm going to approach. But along with them, maybe have a couple of bee colonies so I can sell some honey and things like that. And ultimately, get a few more acres, have a couple horses, and who knows, maybe have an area out here where we can do, I don't know, weddings and parties and things like that with animals. But back to my alpacas. The primary is my alpacas. I'm going to have alpacas. I think they're cute. Don't get them confused with llamas. Yes, they do spit a little bit, but not nearly as much as a llama. They are awesome, and I will kind of keep you updated on that. I do want to do a walk around of my property. I don't think I've done that yet, to kind of show you my house on the hill and how proud I am of it. But that's probably for a different day. Anywho, but yeah, that's kind of where I am right now. And I really do appreciate you guys supporting me. If you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button and the notifications. I know that way, subscribe, notifications, whatever. Anyway, I know that it kind of gets old. Everybody says it. But I really do appreciate you helping me get my my channel started, supporting me. Anything and everything will be topics. I don't have a specific agenda, as I said in my very first video. And yeah, but alongside that alpaca, I am kind of looking for ideas for my farm name, or maybe company name, or whatever. So, go down in those comments, be whatever. And like I said in my last video, really don't give a fuck what you say to me. If you're nice, you're nice. If you're mean, you're mean. I don't care. I'm gonna take it as I see fit. If it's, if it's criticism, cool, and it's worthy, cool. If it's you just being an asshole troll, I just take it like a grain of salt, throw it over my shoulder, and say, go fuck off and do whatever you do on the internet. If it's a praise, or it's a good idea, or it's something you'd like to see, of course I'm going to write it down and I will get to it. I promise. I'm just kind of new at this, so please bear with me. With me just kind of getting this off the ground. I know I suck a little bit, so I'm only going to get better, and hopefully you'll see the little journeys that I'm kind of throwing out there between getting back into shape, or my alpaca farm, or now that I got you invested in this Comcast thing. I'll keep you guys updated on that, and maybe this weekend, if it's nice, I'll do a walk around of my boat, and maybe the yard, show you my tractor or whatever. I know it's just simple things, but it's my life, and if you want to know about Goober Lefty and his little world of weirdness, well, stay tuned, and I will see you on the backside. Check you later, y'all.